Hey everyone, Purple Eyed Chaos here today, bringing you 3 personal predictions for The Witcher 4. A little bit of a different video today, but, well, I don't know, just wanted to talk about this time. So I personally have 3 ideas of what the next Witcher game could be about. Yes, based on the teaser image alone that they've shown us. So without further delay, here we go. So first off, I'd like to discuss the possibility that the next game could be an all-Ciri game. Now, I know a lot of people talk about Ciri being the next protagonist and everyone wanting to play as Ciri. And honestly, with all the recent discoveries, I'd say it's a possibility, but I'd say it's highly unlikely. Now, when I say recent discoveries, I'm going to refer you to another video of another YouTuber I really like, but yeah, go check that out if you'd like. Really interesting thing there, and that interesting thing is really the only reason I think a Ciri game is possible, but I still think it's highly unlikely. If a Ciri game were to happen, I could see it being interesting, possibly having like her powers being able to be learned. Like, she's still learning how to use them herself. So over time, you have to learn how to control them more, and then towards the end of the game, you'd be a lot stronger. The only issue with this is, by the end of The Witcher 3, she seems to have mastered them all, so yeah, that's kind of a problem for that. And at the end of The Witcher 3, she is kind of insanely overpowered to be the next protagonist. Secondly, of course, I'd like to bring up the medallion. Now, a lot of people like to say that the medallion is a cat school medallion, which may not be wrong, but it looks nothing like the medallion Ciri wears from the cat school. Plus, there is the idea of all the multiple endings. I mean, there's the Empress ending, the Witcheress ending, and then the other ending, where I presume Ciri just never returned. We believed her to be dead for a while, but again, she's not, actually. Which is where I shall refer you to this video one last time. The link will even be in my description. But the truth of the matter is, there's just too many factors in this. I highly doubt Ciri is going to be our next protagonist. And all this is not even mentioning the fact that really her role in The Witcher 3 is nothing new or special. It's been this way since the books for a long time now. Ciri has always had a massive role, one just as important as Geralt, I would go far as to say. I'd go so far as to say one even more important than what she had in The Witcher 3. It's nothing new. She's not going to be the new protagonist, I don't think. But if she is, well, I'm not necessarily opposed, but I don't think they should call it The Witcher 4. I think they should give it a new title if it's going to be an all-Ciri game. Maybe even The Witcheress, because Geralt is the Witcher. I mean, that's just the way it is. So, my second prediction is, I think, the most logical of the bunch, and this is another popular prediction as well. It will be the third prediction that will be all original. Well, mostly original. But that aside, I think it's likely that the medallion is a tease at a new school, the School of the Lynx, most likely. And the reason I think it's a tease for a whole new school is because think of the possibilities. I mean, CDPR, they have the character creator in Cyberpunk, which is supposed to be absolutely amazing. I wouldn't know, I've not played the game, but I have seen images and heard a lot. With how popular the Witcher series is for them, it would be a bit of a missed opportunity for them to just, well, not allow us to be our own Witchers. That's what I suspect. A whole new school so we can create our own Witchers for it. Because a whole new school would be a whole new blank slate. And I'd imagine they'd have to put the era during the beginning days of the Witchers, if this is going to be the case. considering all the Witchers are in decline nowadays, and yeah. It just makes sense for it to be more in the dark ages of the timeline, when the monsters were more plentiful and the Witchers were at their peak. Or who knows, maybe it could take place after The Witcher 3. Maybe our custom Witchers could even go on a hunt with Geralt. Who knows? However, I don't think this would be a Witcher 4. This would be under a new title as well. Maybe even just straight up called The Witcher. Almost like a reboot type deal, if that makes sense. Personally, I'd be up for making my own Witcher for this. I mean, I do sort of have a couple in mind I could create. I think this is the most likely possibility of these 3 predictions. But on to number 3, which I thought of. Now, before I go on with this next prediction, I would like to say that there is a flaw in it, and that being the words, "A new saga begins." So keep that in mind, and yeah. Now, I understand this is highly unlikely, and possibly even wishful thinking on my part, but there's a few things that have been catching my eye recently. I feel like the reveal that Ciri survives the worst ending of The Witcher 3 has to be important, because it seemed like the game developers even wanted us to find this. Ciri and Geralt both survived the worst ending. Now, a lot of people still say Geralt probably didn't survive it, but let's be completely honest here. The DLC Blood and Wine for The Witcher 3, it takes place, I believe it's 5 years after the main quest. And even if you have gotten the bad ending of The Witcher 3, that bad ending still affects Blood and Wine. So the truth is, Geralt is alive. Somehow he got out of that situation he ended up in, with all the monsters surrounding him, and yeah. Somehow he pulled through it. That's the only thing that can explain Blood and Wine still happening and being affected by the bad ending. Because keep in mind that Triss or Yennefer can appear at the end of Blood and Wine, depending on which one you romanced. If you romance neither of them, then Ciri comes. But if Ciri never returned due to the bad ending having happened, then none of the 3 appear. Dandelion comes. So yes, Geralt survived it as well. Both Geralt and Ciri survive no matter what ending you get, which opens up the possibility for a true Witcher 4. Like I was saying a little bit ago, it seemed like the developers really wanted us to figure out that Ciri was still alive even after the bad ending of the game. And so with knowing her and Geralt are both alive, this means the next game could really be anything. But now let me take you on a more in-depth look on my point of view of things. So let's dive into some book lore here. We all know what the Wild Hunt wanted Ciri for. At least, I hope The Witcher 3 doesn't fully explain. They want her blood, yes. They, well, more like her bloodline. They want to merge their king's bloodline with her own. It's been this way even since the original king of the Wild Hunt, who Eredin assassinated. Although the original king actually treated Ciri quite nicely, and from what I gather, I believe he even gave her a choice in the matter. Eredin, on the other hand, no, he's not going to give her a choice. But that beside the point, Avallac'h was a supporter of the original king, and is absolutely obsessed with the Elder Bloodline. But what's most interesting about this all is Geralt's words to Ciri. I don't exactly have gameplay footage of it. I would play it back for you right now if I had it, but I'm afraid I don't. So I'll have to recite this from memory. At a time where Geralt and Ciri get on the subject of Avallac'h, Geralt says to Ciri that one day he may ask you for a favor. And Ciri's response is, well, he may, but he'll give me a choice, most likely. And they just leave it at that. Which, if you ask me, is kind of disturbing, but by the way, that aside. Now, allow me to go further. As you all know, the prophecy, the one that they believe is talking about Ciri, and The Witcher 3 seems to emphasize it's talking about Ciri. Well, it's actually not talking about Ciri. If I recall correctly, it's actually talking about Ciri's child, which is, well, part of why the Wild Hunt wanted her to begin with. And Emperor Ymir, but that's a whole other disturbing story for another time. Well, the prophecy goes on to say that the world will die in cold and be reborn with the new sun. It will be reborn of elder blood, of the seed that will not sprout but burst into flames. All of that is actually reference to Ciri's own child. And now, let's go back to the teaser image we have for the next Witcher game. And now, I want people to remember that Ciri does have a cat medallion. And, well, what is a lynx? I mean, it's a cat that has pointed ears. What if this teaser is not a tease at who will be playing, but a tease as to who will be fighting? What if, after the events of The Witcher 3, Avallac'h did come to Ciri and ask for that favor? What if this whole teaser has been teasing the fact we may very well be fighting to save the world from the prophecy, from Ciri's own child? Because again, a lynx is a cat with pointed ears. Ciri has a cat medallion, and yeah, I don't think I need to explain any further. I think you guys got it. But what's further interesting about it is the fact it's buried in snow. And remember, the prophecy goes, the world will die amidst cold and be reborn of the new sun, reborn of elder blood. Perhaps this could even be something akin to the new God of War. Like, perhaps we'll be given an older Geralt to play as.
How you like that silver?
And of course, likely several endings to go along with it, and Witcher 3 choices having impact the whole game. Maybe even good endings where Geralt manages to save Ciri's child, and we get to see the two reunite, you know, or maybe bad endings where Geralt has to take the child down. I mean, the possibilities are near endless. There's just really one massive flaw in this prediction, and that's the fact that the teaser says a new saga begins. As I stated earlier, that is a problem, yes. However, I would like to say that just because the previous saga is over, doesn't necessarily mean Geralt's story is over. It could just mean the story of the last 3 games has ended, come to its conclusion. However, there's another flaw with even that idea, and that's the fact that The Witcher 3 does flat out state that Geralt of Rivia's story is over. But then again, maybe that could have just been talking about his story in The Witcher 3. Plus, it does kind of tell you that before immediately going on into 2 more DLCs. So there's that. But really, all of that is just a prediction. Probably one that is very wrong. Probably one that I spent way too much time creating and analyzing. I definitely say the most likely is the School of the Lynx one. Prediction idea 2. But still, this third one would definitely be very interesting, and I'd be up for it. Really, I'd be up for all 3 of these, though. I am curious which of these three you guys might like best, though. Or if you even have your own predictions, I wouldn't mind seeing them. With all of that said, that's, well, all I have to say. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. See you all next time.